of your company tonight, and it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome our dear guests, distinguished Mr. Hikmet Hajiev, Assistant to the President and Director of the Foreign Affairs Department from the Presidential Administration, and distinguished Ambassador Elchin Amirbayev, representative of the President on special assignments. The purpose of the briefing today is to update you on the latest developments in our region. As you know, as you remember from the briefing on Monday, we were concerned about the growing escalation caused by the intransigent position of the Armenian side. Regretfully, this escalation had to result in local limited counter-terrorism measures, which the Azerbaijani side was obliged to take. The origin, the cause of this is well known. Regretfully, the Armenian side chose to delay, to prolong, to play for time, and thus waste the valuable time, almost 3 years, in the immediate aftermath after the hostilities ended in November 2020. As a result of the counterterrorism measures taken by the Azerbaijani armed forces, the agreement was reached today for the demilitarization, disarmament, and disbandment of the remnants of the regular forces of the Republic of Armenia, which were still illegally deployed in the sovereign territories of Azerbaijan in direct violation of international law and contrary to the letter and spirit of the trilateral statement of November 2020. I will not abuse the attention of a distinguished audience, and with this in mind, I would like to pass the floor to our distinguished colleagues and guests. First, Mr. Hajiev, please.
Mr. Deputy Minister, dear ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, and dear media representatives, and our today's meeting runs in a little bit different format, where we have the distinguished ambassadors and media representatives and from Azerbaijan and from the international media outlets as well. And we're thankful for such an opportunity as a Minister of Foreign Affairs, and for particular thanks for our ambassadors who are accredited in Azerbaijan and diplomatic corps representatives. The short notice coming to that meeting, and also media representatives and coming from the different countries to cover the realities on the ground that we very much appreciate. First, I would like to provide you with an operational update with regard to the development and since yesterday. As everybody knows that since the beginning of 2023, Azerbaijani side on multiple occasions has invited representatives of Armenian residents of Karabakh region of Azerbaijan to Baku to have a contact about a reintegration process. And this invitation has been done by the presidential administration of the Republic of Azerbaijan, but twice this invitation has been rejected by the so-called illegal separatist and puppet regime in Karabakh region of Azerbaijan. And since then, through our international partners, we have extensively discussed this issue that Armenia-Azerbaijan normalization process is constituting the first track of normalization process, including the elements of the peace treaty. Second track on Azerbaijan's agenda was always as an internal chapter, internal matter, to ensure reintegration of Karabakh Armenians to the political, economic, and social spectrum of Azerbaijan. And Azerbaijan's broader vision about the social economic integration was also ready, and it was prepared with an appropriate government institutions of Azerbaijan, and to meet humanitarian situation on the ground, and also to ensure a smooth reintegration process. And we have also witnessed a situation since June 15th on the border between Armenia and Azerbaijan, where Lachen checkpoint has been established, and there was a provocation. And since then, unfortunately, there was a negative tendency, as we have seen that illegal regime didn't allow for the passage through the Aghdam-Khankandi road, and while having this road, Azerbaijan expected that it will ensure reintegration. But during this process, and also on a bilateral discussion between Armenia and Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan always raised in front of the international partners illegal military presence in the sovereign territories of Azerbaijan. And in our last meeting and briefing in such a format, we have informed distinguished ambassadors as well that 10,000 strong armed forces and with the presence of the armed force of the Republic of Armenia and including within a tank and heavy artillery elements was constituting major threat to the regional peace and security and also Azerbaijan's reintegration agenda. And yesterday early morning and within a landmine explosions as a result of which Azerbaijani civilians and police officers become a victim has caused for the triggering element for Azerbaijan to start limited and localized counter-terrorism measures on the ground. In a sense, it was civil military engagement and also involving some police elements as well. It was not just only military operation as such, and therefore it was considered counter-offensive and local and limited scale engagement on the ground. And in the meantime, it was not in a large-scale military operation as such, because, as once again, I would like to reiterate that this engagement was on a limited and small scale by nature. Azerbaijani side, as it has been demonstrated in the appropriate videos and recordings by the armed forces of the Republic of Azerbaijan, has chosen precision-guided ammunition. Azerbaijan was very selective and very vigilant and also quite extraordinarily sensitive with regard to the civilian objects and civilians. Therefore, precision-guided ammunition has been applied to avoid collateral damage to the civilians. As a result of which operation that we see, as a result of these measures on the ground, what we see, there is simply no damages to civilians. There are some rumors and some information are coming, but it needs to be double-checked over again. But if happened, we can talk about the very, very minimal case of collateral damages, but we are ready to look at such cases as well. In the run of this counter-terrorism actions on the ground from Azerbaijani side, SMS messages has been delivered to all households, all mobile subscribers in Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, and warning the population and residents on the ground, especially civilians, to keep them a safe distance from the military objects and military installations. And then appropriate leaflets in 2 languages, in Armenian and English, has been provided to all households, to all major cities, and especially has been distributed amongst the civilian population. The message was that keep them a safe distance from the military objectives and military installations. What we have witnessed that Armenian side, and it was also operative information that we are receiving, they try to install military objectives very close to the civilians and civilian institutions. And in the course of the counter-terrorism actions on the ground, on certain occasions, Azerbaijani side has identified legitimate military target, but while seeing civilians next to that, and military operations and military engagement has been abolished and aborted. As a sign of respect to the civilians, it once again demonstrated that how Azerbaijani side was vigilant with regard to that. And with regard to the diplomatic actions on the ground, and since the start of this engagement, we have been also engaged very active diplomatic engagement with our partners, and reiterating over again that Azerbaijan's agenda is about a peaceful reintegration of Karabakh Armenians, and Azerbaijan also supports normalization process between Armenia and Azerbaijan. But Azerbaijan cannot tolerate any longer having within 10,000 strong armed forces on the sovereign territories of Azerbaijan with the substantial components of the Armenian forces on the ground. And yesterday, presidential administration of the Republic of Azerbaijan made it twice in a statement, once again inviting representatives of Armenian residents of Karabakh to Yevlax city of Azerbaijan to have discussions and to have a contact and a dialogue with regard to the reintegration process. Unfortunately, yesterday it was not addressed in a proper manner from the other side. And also Minister of Defense of the Republic of Azerbaijan made an appropriate statements, and also some other government officials of the Republic of Azerbaijan made a statement that once they decide to disarm and to disband the armed forces on the ground, Azerbaijan is ready to hold counter-offensive actions. But again, I would like to underline over again that it was a limited scale and also local engagement. And over the night, and there was an active engagement through the diplomatic channels, and also we as a Russian peacekeeping contingent on the ground. And we also had continued to have very effective and collaborative relations with them, and we as them, and we also delivered our certain messages to Karabakh Armenians, and they also played their important role with regard to ensuring safety on the ground with regard to the local population on many important issues. We have coordinated certain actions, and beforehand, of course, Azerbaijan Armed Forces informed Russian peacekeeping contingent and Russian-Turkish military monitoring center on the ground, so that to avoid any potential collateral damages on the ground. And again, we have a very effective and coordinated actions on the ground with regard to the safety of the civilian population. And we as Russian peacekeepers, and also via our international partners, we have continued our engagement. And Azerbaijan's proposal was on the table that we are ready to hold military with counter-offensive, counter-terrorism actions on the ground once they decide to disarm. And since the early morning, with discussions continued, as a result of which there was a consent that 1300 Baku time, there will be a halt of the military engagement on the ground. And Azerbaijan has received assurances that so-called illegal forces on the ground will disarm themselves, and also military detachments of the Republic of Armenia, stations on the sovereign territories of the Republic of Azerbaijan, will disarm itself. And they will also abandon all their military outposts and military positions, and also surrender all their military equipment and their arms and weapons. And there also safe passage to the appropriate assembly points will also provided from Azerbaijani side. And heavy equipment and surrender of the heavy equipment, in this case heavy artillery, tanks and some other equipments will be subject for the further discussions, but it will also be surrendered to Azerbaijani side. And all of these actions are also on the ground, coordinated with the Russian peacekeepers as well. And Azerbaijan also is ready for tomorrow's engagement and also initial contacts with the representatives of the Armenian residents in Karabakh to have a broader discussion about the reintegration process under the constitution and laws of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan's vision is ready also to have a smooth reintegration process. And also we are looking forward to meet immediate humanitarian requirements of the population on the ground. For that purpose, we are also trying to reach through the different channels to the local population and to understand and to hear their humanitarian needs on the ground. And of course, we are also seeking in the soonest period of time to ensure stability and security on the ground for the appropriate work of the civilian institutions of the Republic of Azerbaijan. And today, as a cabinet of the ministers of Azerbaijan, there is a broad meeting at the working level with an appropriate civilian institutions of Azerbaijan to start civilian projects with regard to meeting the humanitarian requirements and also long-term and short-term requirements on the ground with regard to the supply of the social welfare instruments and other social elements on the ground, and also ensuring the political economic, social reintegration of Armenian residents into proper Azerbaijan as such. And in this regard, we are a little bit disturbed and concerned by the hasty statements by some countries with regard to the situation on the ground. Nevertheless, on international community and our partners and have been informed through the diplomatic channels about the real situation on the ground and about legitimate security concerns of the Republic of Azerbaijan. That was with regard to the presence of the armed force of the Republic of Armenia. And again, we do regret that there was no proper attention has not been paid to that, and some unilateral statements have been made that we don't think that is not helpful to the agenda of the peace and also ensuring the proper reintegration of Armenian residents to Azerbaijan. And we do also regret that there was one unilateral attempt to call United Nations Security Council meeting Of course, in case of the United Nations Security Council meeting, Azerbaijan is ready, as it was in the last time, to express its views and its legitimate concerns, and also its vision with regard to that. But we don't think that United Nations Security Council in this case is a needed and relevant instrument. And we do think and we do believe that solution of the important issues are on the ground, and on the ground these issues need to be solved. Therefore, we do think that if such a meeting, in case of taking place, it will be counter-effective and detrimental, and we should be abided by the at least no-harm policy on the ground and to support initiatives on the ground, not to deteriorate an already fragile situation. Therefore, once this initiative has been made, and we are reiterating our call that there is no need for such a meeting. Again, in case of holding such a meeting, Azerbaijan in a proper way will express its legitimate security concerns and legitimate vision. Again, I would like to reiterate that Azerbaijan's agenda is about peace and regional peace, and Azerbaijan will do its utmost to ensure reintegration of the residents of Karabakh, and we do think that with the disarmament of the military component, we will have far better chances, far better opportunities for reintegration process and also Armenia-Azerbaijan peace agenda to advance. Azerbaijan also continues to support Armenia-Azerbaijan normalization process and also Armenia-Azerbaijan peace treaty signing process, notwithstanding with the fact that Armenian side last several months have been engaged in hybrid warfare against the Republic of Azerbaijan. This hybrid warfare has demonstrated itself with a diplomatic warfare by Armenia and Armenian diaspora and lobby groups against the Republic of Azerbaijan. And Armenian diplomatic missions all around the world are still questioning the territorial integrity of the Republic of Azerbaijan. And we know that they are writing the diplomatic notes to different countries when we are holding different events in the liberated territories of Azerbaijan. And this logic we still don't understand. Because verbally, Republic of Armenia, at the level of the head of the government, and states that they recognize Azerbaijan's territorial integrity, but their diplomatic actions speak for the contrary. In UNESCO, when Azerbaijan's cultural heritage was inscribed and highlighted, there was a massive attack to the UNESCO against the cultural heritage of Azerbaijan. It was yet another ununderstandable gesture from Armenian side. Armenian side also through its diaspora and lobby groups and also some international media outlets also engaged in a massive disinformation and misinformation campaign against the Republic of Azerbaijan. And militarily speaking, that Armenia still was holding the military forces on the ground on the sovereign territories of Azerbaijan, and all in all of these elements are demonstration of the fact that all hybrid warfare. As a result of these actions from the Armenian Republic of Armenia, they have created unnecessarily toxic and unconducive atmosphere for the agenda of peace in our region. Again, regardless of this fact, Azerbaijan supports peace initiatives and looking forward for active engagement with our international partners on Armenia-Azerbaijan normalization track as such, and we do think that reintegration process that constitutes the second track of Azerbaijan's policy of reintegrating Karabakh Armenians to Azerbaijan's social economic track will complement with one another and will ensure stable and durable peace in the region. Thank you. I will be pleased if there are any questions and remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Hajiev. If I may pass the floor to distinguished Ambassador Amirbayev, representative of President on Special Assignments. Please, sir.
Thank you, Ambassador Zaev. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, dear representatives of media. First of all, let me join my colleagues in thanking you for showing up in such big numbers. I don't have much to add to what was said, and I will keep my remarks rather short. Just a couple of messages. The first one is just to say that today's developments, they have helped us all to basically overcome one of the main stumbling blocks which were in the way of the achievement of sustainable and long-term peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and that is the fact that the issue of illegal foreign military presence in the sovereign territory of Azerbaijan has been efficiently addressed. Despite the fact that Azerbaijan has raised this issue on many occasions in different international platforms and appealed to Armenia in the first place, but also to major facilitators in the peace process, that this issue has to be dealt with on an urgent basis. unfortunately, we didn't see any concrete actions or any efficient recipes to address this problem. So, like it has been always the case in the last several years, Azerbaijan was actually forced to resolve this issue on its own. I hope that today's development and the arrangements reached will be completely and in good faith fulfilled by the Armenian side. And I think that this is one of the prerequisites for the future advancement of the peace process. I would like just to take this opportunity to reaffirm Azerbaijan's strong and steadfast commitment to the advancement of the peace agenda and to our commitment to engage constructively in all three tracks of the normalization process between Armenia and Azerbaijan. That is the negotiations on the peace agreement, the discussions on the delimitation of the frontier between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and the third track being the opening of communication links between the two countries. I think that today's developments have put us in a situation when we will have less irritants on the way of concentrating on the main issues which await us ahead. And I would like to echo what was said by distinguished Mr. Hajiev, that we also want to make sure that nothing deals a blow to a very fragile and sensitive nature of current situation. We want to appeal to countries, relevant countries, the countries concerned, to think twice between undertaking any steps or actions or statements that could put this fragile situation in further jeopardy. So that's why I would like to reaffirm our appeal to those who basically are seeking to convene the session of the United Nations Security Council, to think how helpful this step could be in order to advance the overall peace agenda. We have seen already several previous occasions what this contribution was. So we want to concentrate and to divert our attention back to the main peace process, to the main peace tracks. And so that's why I hope that this appeal of Azerbaijan will be heard and the meeting will not negatively affect, or at best could be even cancelled, because I don't see that the reasons which actually stood at the bottom of this desire to seize the Security Council, they are no longer there, because the ceasefire arrangement has been reached, and we hope that it will be respected by the Armenian side as it is by Azerbaijan. I thank you.
I would like to thank both distinguished gentlemen, representatives of the presidential administration, for their interventions at today's briefing. I hope that ladies and gentlemen of the diplomatic corps and of the media community are now better equipped to understand the realities on the ground, the first-hand information provided by the Azerbaijani government on the processes and the immediate aftermath as we see it from Baku. Now I would like to open the Q&A session and invite the distinguished audience, be it diplomatic or representing the media community, to use this opportunity to ask questions or provide comments, perhaps. Please. Ambassador of Kazakhstan, please.
Alim Bayal, Ambassador of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan today once again expressed its support for the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan, and we welcome the Azerbaijani initiative to hold a meeting with Karabakh Armenians. My question is, what are the prospects of the peace agreement now, at this point in time? Thanks.
Please, Mr. Hajiev.
With regard to the peace agreement, I would like to reiterate that after the 44 days of war, it was initiative of the Republic of Azerbaijan to sign a peace treaty with the Republic of Armenia, notwithstanding with the fact that Azerbaijan was suffering from the 30 years long military occupation and aggression from the side of Armenia. And Azerbaijan has formulated basic principles of the peace treaty between two countries, especially based on the territorial integrity, sovereignty, and non-use of force, and some other fundamental principles of international law, and including Azerbaijan, as part of its principles, suggested to establish diplomatic relations between two countries once these principles have been installed in bilateral relations between two countries. And text of the bilateral peace treaty between two countries has also been provided and prepared by Azerbaijan and submitted to Armenian side for further discussions. And we do appreciate that our international partners, and particularly the United States, provided good offices for facilitation of the peace treaty discussions, and also Russian Federation also provided another platform for discussion on the peace treaty issues. But with regard to the platforms where these discussions have taken place, that was always the position of Azerbaijan. It's not an important where we're discussing, but was an important what we are discussing. And what we are discussing in a sense that Azerbaijan's approach was that sooner is better, with a peace treaty, we can have transformative and sweeping change in the region of the South Caucasus, and it can also close in a chapter of the hostility between two countries that Armenia has unleashed in this war against Azerbaijan. As we have already informed the international community and diplomatic corps in Azerbaijan, more than 70% to an extent, or roughly we can say, of the peace treaty has been cleared. There are certain issues, and fundamental issue was about ethnic minorities concept, and our international partners also suggested that Karabakh Armenians as such is in a concept of an ethnic minority. In that concept, as an ethnic minority should be reflected, but in the meantime, while reflecting ethnic minority, it should be a reciprocal process. Armenia should also assume its responsibility for the regard to the ethnic minorities. We expected that on the margins of the United Nations General Assembly there will be another round of the intensive discussions. Unfortunately, as a result of which this hybrid warfare that I try to describe, and also negative tendencies that we have witnessed in our region, we couldn't hold yet another round of the intensive discussions in Washington on the margins of the United Nations General Assembly. But it is still on the agenda of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan continues to strongly support peace treaty, and we do believe that it's doable and it can be done, but Armenia should demonstrate positive engagement with regard to that. For that, I think that certain parameters should be fulfilled on the ground. First, Republic of Armenia must finally cease its all territorial claims against the Republic of Azerbaijan. Second, Republic of Armenia so far denied that they don't have any military forces on the territories of Azerbaijan, and today Armenian leadership over again denied this fact. But facts are speaking for themselves, and we have an operative information, and with current counter-terrorism actions on the ground once again demonstrated that Armenia has real forces on the ground, because we were not dealing about paramilitary or any kind of with paramilitary groups. We were dealing with the real combat forces on the ground. As this video footage has been provided, they have been building strong trenches and within bunkers, with strong artillery elements, as a result of which Shusha city of Azerbaijan was bombed. But you know that how valuable Shusha for Azerbaijan and Azerbaijani people, and they were bombing Shusha and with a heavy artillery, as a result of which we lost one civilian, and they were bombing Aghdam city of Azerbaijan that has been destroyed, and new installments that we are building in Aghdam, they tried attempt to bomb that one as well. It once again demonstrates that we were dealing with the real army on the ground, not some kind of paramilitary forces. And third, that the Republic of Armenia, from its government budget, continues to support financially, politically, logistically, and militarily with an illegal puppet regime on the sovereign territories of Azerbaijan. And Armenia must end all of these elements, and afterwards we do think that we will have much better opportunities for peace. Therefore, we are cautious optimistic with regard to today's arrangements that once illegal regime has agreed, was obliged to agree to disarm the armed forces, we will have better chances to withdraw all elements of Armenian armed forces from the Republic of Azerbaijan, and to ensure regional peace on the ground. And we are still once again reiterating our support and commitment to the peace treaty between two countries. Again, we do think that it will change entire the political map and geopolitical map of the region of the South Caucasus. And I would like to also reiterate and repeat that integrated region of the South Caucasus was actually initiative of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. While having international media in our auditorium, I would like once again to reiterate and to urgent understanding of the international media with regards to a certain terminology. Unfortunately, there wasn't some tendencies as if there was going to be ethnic cleansing, whatever, in Karabakh. But it's a completely unacceptable such a terminology against Azerbaijan. Because we are proud of our multiculturalism, we are proud of different ethnicities living side by side in peace and dignity in Azerbaijan. And therefore, same parameters with regard to the protection of the rights of the ethnic minorities will be provided on an individual basis to Armenians in Karabakh. There could be potentially some concerns within the Armenian residents of Karabakh. Once again, using this opportunity, we would like to send our messages that Azerbaijan's intention is to provide their rights and security and their safety as well. Once a security situation on the ground is stabilized, Azerbaijan will continue as in a civil engagement and with the civilian institutions to have better opportunities to alleviate the situation and to ensure better integration. But once again, I'm calling for our international media friends and colleagues to put an additional due diligence with regard to certain terminologies and to have a better fact-check factors on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? That seems not to be the case. I would like to thank our distinguished counterparts. Sir, yes, in the back, please. If you can introduce yourself. Thank you.
Добрый день. Издание news.ru, Москва, Юрий Зайнашев. Известно, что Европарламент сутки назад призвал ввести санкции против Баку, призвал Совет Европы. Как вы думаете, есть ли какие-то шансы на реализацию этой идеи, особенно учитывая, что события закончились так быстро?
Mr. Amirbayev will take that question, please.
Shall I answer in Russian or you prefer in English? I will say in Russian, yeah? But most of the people here don't understand Russian, so I'll respond in English. Well, I was referring in my initial remarks that all those international actors which seek to contribute positively to the peace process, they should devote their efforts in this direction and not to engage in any destructive or irritant activities which would be making the achievement of a long-lasting and sustainable peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan a difficult task. Unfortunately, European Parliament already has followed for some time a very negative tradition of very destructive and sided, biased, erroneous assessments in their activities. I don't consider that this body has kept any credibility in terms of their possible contribution to the peace process between Armenia and Azerbaijan for the obvious reasons that I would like not to dwell into today. So that's why I think that one should not take it too seriously, because this attempt is a clear provocative act which aims at disrupting the emerging and very fragile situation which has been achieved earlier today. And I think that it is very important now for all those who want to help Armenia and Azerbaijan to reach peace to refrain from this destructive and biased deeds or actions which basically are non-efficient. From the one hand, they are useless, they are misleading, and as such they should be rejected. Thank you.
Если можно, я бы хотел посредством вас, дорогой коллега, поинтересоваться у Европейского парламента, как у них идет расследование коррупции среди членов Европейского парламента и руководства. Когда можно ожидать резолюции по этому вопросу, а также судебных приговоров? Спасибо. Any other questions? If that not seems to be the case, I would like to thank our distinguished guests, distinguished Mr. Hajiev, Mr. Amirbayev, thank you. interesting and useful insights, as always. I'd like to thank our distinguished audience, representatives of the diplomatic corps, the media community. Thank you for your attendance and participation on such short notice. We believe it is important, again, that you have first-hand information from the senior representatives of Azerbaijani government, of Azerbaijani presidential administration, so you are better equipped to communicate, to report to your capitals and your news headquarters, that is, about the realities on the ground and the position of Azerbaijan, which is aimed at peace agenda, peace normalization, and regional cooperation based on the principles and values of international law and good neighborhood. Thank you.